that point, which is, what advice would you give a nonprofit who wants to use social media to promote its work but doesn't have the resources to engage in two-way communication?
As someone in a large organization that started using social media 4 years ago, I would say pick one. I mean, one, you have to actually make the decision, even if you don't have the staff, are you willing to take on one more thing? And then really go with it for, I would say, 6 months and see how it goes. You know, and then reevaluate from there. And what we found was when we started again with MySpace was that we were bringing in thousands of supporters. And we were able to figure this out because we were using GetActive at the time, put source code at the end of everything that we sent out, and when people drove back and signed up, all of their information that was in GetActive from that point on, we were able to track, were they taking action, were they giving us money, things like that. And as we started to show a real return on investment, then the agency started to buy in, and like I said before, there was 1 or 2 of us at the beginning, and now we're 3, but also other parts are moving into it. You know, we're able to show that we've raised, a lot of money and brought in a lot more supporters. So, I mean, it is going to be a challenge at first. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's a difficult thing to start with. But if you can show higher ups data, that's what I found is data is the thing. It's not just we should do this because it's cool. Is really the key.
And just as a volunteer organization, I put in my plug also for this is a great way to engage ambassadors for your organization and people who have commitment and passion and intellectual assets about your mission, and it's a great virtual way for them to participate.
And I'd add that if you're a small organization, you're starting up, and I just asked the question, what is more important than a conversation with your supporters and advocates? And if you just one tool that you use, whatever the tool is, but that should be one of your top priorities, is having a conversation. It should be two-way. So if you don't have the resource to have a two-way conversation, and whatever tools you use, if it's a small organization, you just have a town hall meeting together, that's fine. But if you're distributed and you need some way to have that conversation, then you're probably not doing the right thing. If two-way conversation is not one of your top priorities, then something's off there.
Well, I think we're going to have to stop there, and I want to thank not only our panelists, but also Google and Salesforce and Facebook for helping to host this event. This is really important, and I also want to thank all of you. It's hard to realize it's sitting in this room, but you are on the vanguard of change right here. And the fact that you're here asking the questions and trying to figure out how you're going to use these tools in your own organizations is going to mean a lot as the world changes. And the nonprofit world is going to change because of these tools and because of what we're going through right now. So thanks to all of you for being here, and thanks to our panelists.
Thanks very much, and thanks, Ben, for moderating the panel as well. What I want to do is I'm going to invite Galen Panger up from Google, who's going to sort of give us the lowdown on lunch in the afternoon. But before I do this, I said I wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway, which is, and Tim sort of was the one who prompted me to do it, which is we have a video called What is Cloud Computing? So I just thought that it would be a useful thing to show to try to level set people in terms of at least how Salesforce, we sort of define cloud computing. And we're talking about sort of 2 things today. We're talking about sort of social media and social networking and moving operations into the cloud. They're distinct things and they're related things. So we're going to try to roll this computer, we hope, this video on YouTube, I believe. We're going to keep our fingers crossed that we have sound. It is not a nonprofit specific video, so where it says your business, you can put in your nonprofit, or if you think about your nonprofit as a business. I think one important thing about it is this tool with Salesforce and with Google and with Facebook and with lots of other companies are the same tool the corporations are using. So that's one way to really kind of level the playing field, in my view, around cloud computing. You get access to world-class tools that the largest corporations in the world are also using. So have a look at it in that spirit.
You have big ideas to streamline your business and drive sales through the roof. But to get there, your ideas need business apps. And business apps have always been too expensive, especially in times like these. Behind each one is a world of complexity. They need a data center with office space, power, cooling, bandwidth, networks, servers, and storage. A complicated software stack, and a team of experts to install, configure, and run them. You need development, testing, staging, production, and failover environments. And when there's a problem, good luck. You call technical support, and they don't know, so they blame someone else. Oh, and when new versions come out, you would upgrade, but that might bring the whole system down. Now, this is for one app. When you multiply these headaches across dozens or hundreds of apps, it's easy to see why the biggest companies with the best IT departments aren't getting the apps they need. Small businesses don't have a chance. Cloud computing is a better way to run your business. Instead of running your apps yourself, they run on a shared data center. You just plug in, like a utility. This makes it fast to get started, and it costs less. It's like Gmail compared to Microsoft Exchange. With Gmail, do you need servers and storage? No. Do you need a technical team to keep it up and running? No. Do you have to do upgrades? No. When you use any app that runs in the cloud, you just log in, customize it, and start using it. That's the power of cloud computing. This model is so much better, it's changing the way we think about software. Not just for consumer apps, it's also being used for business apps. We call this enterprise cloud computing. Businesses are running all kinds of apps in the cloud these days, including custom-built apps. Why? Because you can be up and running in a few days, which is unheard of with traditional business software. They cost less because you don't need to pay for all the people, products, and facilities to run them. And it turns out they're more scalable, more secure, and are more reliable than the vast majority of apps out there. Here's why. They're based on an architecture called multi-tenancy. With a multi-tenant app, there isn't a copy of the app for each business that's using it. It's one app that everyone shares. But it's flexible enough for everyone to customize for their specific needs. It's like a giant office building where everyone shares the infrastructure and services, like security, yet each business can customize their own office space. This means apps are elastic. They can scale up to tens of thousands of users or down to only a few. Upgrades are taken care of for you, so your apps get security and performance enhancements and new features automatically. Now, the way you pay for cloud apps is also different. Forget about buying servers and software. When your apps run in the cloud, you don't buy anything at all. It's all rolled up into a predictable monthly subscription, so you only pay for what you use. Finally, cloud apps don't eat up your valuable IT resources, so your CFO will love it. And you can focus on projects that really impact the business, like deploying more apps. Cloud computing is a simple idea, but it can have a huge impact on your bottom line. For more information, go to salesforce.com/cloud-computing.
Thanks. So that's our definition of working in the cloud. And I will say that distinct from the kind of corporate sector, what we found that's been happening in the nonprofit sector is these customized apps people are building, and then they're putting on what we call the App Exchange. So we have a case management app for social services. We've got some green energy apps, which are calculators on emissions. We've got applications that have been built in the context of volunteerism. So it is, CRM, Salesforce is important to nonprofits, and you can customize applications. You can integrate them with Google. You can integrate them with Facebook. You can integrate them with Amazon and a whole host of other applications. Convio has built a really powerful fundraising app on the Salesforce platform. So sort of that's the power of the cloud in our world, in our view. So thank you again to Ben and Michelle and Jake and Judy and Tim for joining the panel. So Galen Panger is, I just want to just pause for 1 minute and really thank him for his support on this event. He's kind of behind, he's been a little bit behind the scenes in terms of today. But if it wasn't for Galen, we would not be having this event today at Google. He's been a great partner to Salesforce. He's been a great partner to me, and he's been a huge, huge champion of nonprofit success. And I really thank him for his work and support. So just for a minute, can you give me a round of applause? Thanks. Yeah. So why don't you come and tell us what the afternoon's going to look like?
Awesome. Thanks, Suzanne. You guys have been great to work with, too. I work on the Google for Nonprofits team here in DC, and we're going to just tell you about lunch and the afternoon. So lunch is this way. We have boxed lunches for everyone. You're welcome to eat it there, eat it in where we had breakfast, or come back here and eat your seats. You can get there this way as well, so it's all of one big loop if you see from your map. So hopefully you guys have seen in your agenda the map where we're going to have the breakout sessions and all of that. And you also have a map on your ID. and there are maps posted everywhere. So don't get lost.